This video is brought to you by Recurrent, an essential EV tool that gives free access to TFL EV viewers in the US. With Recurrent, EV shoppers can check range and battery info on used cars. EV owners can connect to compare their range and battery health to similar vehicles. And EV sellers can use Recurrent to get more money for their sales. With Recurrent, we can find, drive, and sell electric cars positively. Click on the link in the description below to get free access to Recurrent's amazing EV tools.
The Jeep Wagoneer S is not designed to be a hardcore off-roader, but it still has the toughest four-letter word on wheels on the front of this thing, so it's expected to have at least a little bit of off-road capability. So Kase, what are we doing today?
That's right, our hands are tied. We have to test it off-road, so we've brought it here to Tombstone. It is a relatively mild off-road challenge, but should be perfect to test out this Wagoneer S. To drive home that this is not one of the most rugged Jeeps that you can buy, we've got a set of Falcon all-season tires on a 20-inch wheel. So we'll see how this does in the mud here up in the mountains today. Tommy, check this out. The Jeep can almost drive over a thumbs up.
Oh, Kase, now here's the thing. Jeep claims 6.4 inches, but that low point at the front, that is not 6 inches.
No.
Now, even though the design of the Wagoneer S doesn't look very Jeepy, it is still very distinctive, and it actually gets quite a lot of attention on the road, especially in this red hot pearl paint. Although I will say, it's more two-tone right now than anything else. But there are still some subtle nods to Jeep of the past. For example, it has a 7-slot grille. What I mean by that is it has 7 slots that run down the front of the vehicle, but this isn't actually a grille. This is blocked off for aerodynamics. Now, coming down the side of the Jeep, it does have electronic door handles hidden away in these little pockets, and I do like this black contrast on the roof. And then out back, the most distinctive part about the back end is the massive wing here, which really adds to some of the aerodynamic efficiency of this car. It also disguises the sloping roofline. And then out back, if you could see it, there is a continuous light bar that extends left to right. And you know we have to take it off-road because it says 4xe, which is a reference to 4x4. So this Jeep does have an off-road setting, believe it or not. It's called Sand, so we're going to go from auto through Eco Snow right into the sand. That should be kind of the most useful setting for what we're doing out here today, although there's not a lot of sand. But yeah, it's pretty loose. That's good.
And it is a bit of an indication that what we're doing is toward the extreme end of what this can do because it doesn't have a rock crawl setting.
So the usual start, even to our easier side of Tombstone, is too steep for this front end because there is very little approach angle on this Jeep.
We really don't want to tear up the front bumper on this because this is a premium, expensive vehicle. We don't want to tear up the front end on anything, but especially a machine like this.
Especially a press load, exactly right. Now, let's talk about some of the stats on this Jeep. So this is a 100 kilowatt hour battery. It's got a dual motor setup, and it's good for about 300 miles on a charge, which is okay.
And around 500 horsepower?
Yeah, the thing about this Jeep, which just blows me away every time I get in any Wagoneer S, this isn't even the one with the kind of performance launch setting, it's just a standard one. It is so freaking believable when you get on that accelerator how quick it is.
Yeah, it is very quick. And this isn't even the first edition, the launch edition one that had another 100 horsepower or so.
Exactly right. So far the climb's going okay.
Yeah.
So we're starting to slip some tires here. Now this is a dual motor setup, so there's one motor in the front, one in the back. But to its credit, actually, it distributes torque where it needed to go and we got through that
part. The traction control programming is actually working as we would hope. It's grabbing brake and it's allowing this to move up the trail even when you've got some slip. And not all traction control systems are that good, so it's doing all right.
It's doing pretty good, yeah. And what I'm feeling too from my right foot right now is some EVs, especially when you get them off-road, there's some issue with stall torque, and what that means is when you're stopped on a big hill like this, you go to apply accelerator, and the computer is unwilling to push so much current through a stopped motor that it could potentially damage it. But in this Wagoneer S, it's allowing me to really have a lot of control of that torque, and we're able to kind of crawl up this. That's not bad at all. Now, one thing worth noting about this trunk, this Wagoneer S does not come with a spare tire. And here's the thing, if you want to go on even mild adventures like we're going on today, having a spare is a must. That's where today's sponsor comes in, Modern Spare. They supply spare tires for all sorts of vehicles that don't have them from the factory. They're small, compact, easy to use. They come in a kit so you can do all the changing yourself. That's a really cool piece of technology. Check them out using the link below.
This particular Jeep specializes in luxury, so it's no surprise that we've got a power lift gate and all of our camera gear here in the trunk area, which is pretty big, right around 30 cubic feet with the seats up and more like 60 with them folded down. It's not too bad.
Hopping into the back seat of the Wagoneer S. Now, this is a large, or I guess at least mid-size electric crossover, and as such, the back seat is surprisingly roomy. Driving position at 6 feet tall, I've got plenty of legroom. Headroom is just adequate enough. Do these seats give us any recline here? Let's go ahead and see. Pull just a little bit of adjustability. What's nicer though is you do get proper rear AC vents back here, and you also get 2 USB-C ports. So this is a very usable back seat if you've got kids or even some adults for medium length journeys. This is just fine.
The Wagoneer S does do luxury very well because this cockpit is super modern. There's a lot of real estate taken up by screens, a 12.3 inch screen up top that's running Uconnect, of course, and Apple CarPlay integrated in there. We've also got heated seats and heated steering wheel, which is pretty nice on a cold day. And the rest of our climate is on this secondary copycat screen that's right below the infotainment. And a very minimalist center console as well, our start-stop, our drive selector, and our driving modes right below it, but not too much else. We've got a relatively square steering wheel, but it feels nice in the hand. The materials in here are really good. The design is not bad. I like some of the textures and things that they've added to the interior to make it feel a little bit more special, but I do wish there were a few more splashes of color. The most terrifying thing is it's hard to gauge how much of a rock it'll take for us to bottom out. On our way up, to be fair, we did fine, so that's good. But I don't trust that we could do a whole lot more than what we were doing without touching the underside quite a lot.
Yeah, and look, this is clearly not meant to be an off-road version. Now, at the launch of this vehicle, I went on in New York, which also tells you, New York City, what they think the target market for this car is. They did pull the tarps off of a Trailhawk version of this, but it's been crickets on the Jeep side about whether or not that thing is coming, when it's coming, what it's going to be. So I actually think that based on what I've seen with this all-wheel drive system and some of the capability here, it could actually be really cool.
Yeah.
But this at 6 inches of ground clearance, guys, we're basically at a sedan level of clearance.
Yeah, so the all-wheel drive system doesn't seem to be the limiting factor for this vehicle off-road.
No, it feels really good.
It's the clearance and the angles.
I mean, this is a really, it doesn't look like much on camera, but this is a properly steep trail here, at least for any crossover. So the fact that it could do this on street tires without so much as slipping very much, that's pretty cool.
And to this vehicle's credit, if it can get up this, then it can get to the majority of places that you would want to bring this vehicle to. If you want to take this to go skiing or to go mountain biking or even to go camping, then this goes to show you can get it up and down some pretty rugged, not well-maintained paths.
Now we do have one pedal on right now, and it is a little herky-jerky.
Yeah.
So let me go in electric vehicle. Oh, actually that was on the Min. Interesting. The downhill descent side of things.
Creep on?
Yeah, let's go ahead and turn creep on. Oh yeah, that did it. Good call, Case. So it was basically just trying to grab the brake because it thought I was stopping for like a stoplight or whatever.
Yeah, and it makes it difficult to modulate your speed, which I've noticed in several EVs that do a one pedal driving function, and even some that are programmed specifically for off-roading. It's very difficult to modulate your speed versus a more traditional system where you're just using the brake to keep you going whatever speed you want.
I mean, what this thing needs, and Jeep has done this extensively in the past, and I wish they would offer it on this Wagoneer S because they do it on the full-size one, is air suspension, right? Because you don't want to have a tall, jacked-up EV every day because you're going to kill your range, right? Exactly. But for this kind of thing, just being able to jack it up to 9 inches, for example, or 8 inches even, that would be enough to kind of elevate where you need to go. Now, look, the problem with doing our hard side, because the all-wheel drive system has done it, is that we simply don't have the front end clearance. So what I'll do is I'll drive up to that first rock there, and we'll get out and we'll show you the issue, because it's going to be pretty apparent that it's just not going to do the hard side at Tombstone.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you said, if they do come out with a Trailhawk version of this vehicle that's got a slightly more aggressive tire, a little extra sidewall instead of a 20-inch wheel, and air suspension so that you can raise it up to a usable height on a trail, then they'd have themselves, I think, a decent, at least relatively rugged vehicle.
It'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Genuinely, it would be pretty rad. So the problem here is apparent. To get to the hard side, we got to go up this first little outcropping of rocks, which are right at the level of the front end of this Wagoneer S. So like seriously, if this thing had a couple inch lift on it, I have no doubt we could do the hard side because the all-wheel drive system is working excellent. It's just a little too low to the ground.
It is, but again, for most people's use cases, this is gonna be plenty rugged enough for you to drive through the snow, drive through some mud, some dirt roads, whatever you need to do to get around. So I'd give it a pass. Now the MSRP on this particular Jeep is around $67,000 and it's pretty well optioned, although it's not quite as optioned as some of them are.
Yeah, that's right. But the thing about these is the MSRP is only the start of the story, because with lease deals and incentives, albeit several of which have expired at the end of September, but still, there's a lot of really good deals to be found on these at Jeep dealerships. So even though it says it's 67, I highly doubt the actual transaction price will be 67, so shop around a little.
Yeah, out the door, you should be able to get some discounts from a dealer on one of these if it's something that you're shopping for. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Is this deserving of the Jeep badge, and is it deserving of a more rugged model?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed. I was going into this thinking it's super low, it looks like a car, it's not going to do much, but the all-wheel drive system proved to be really good. Same thing with the acceleration programming. So drop us a comment below what you think of the Wagoneer S, and please, Jeep, please build the Trailhawk, because I think it could be pretty neat. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.